the Scott Addict HMX SL. We've been excited about this one. We're looking to build this and have it be under 11 pounds, hopefully under 5 kilos.
We are trying to do it as a real world build, not just light at any means. So it does need to have electronic shifting, disc brakes, double chain ring, 28C at least, clincher tires, and still keeping most of its aero qualities at the same time.
So these days there's actually quite a few sub 700 gram frames out there that we could have chose from. We chose the HMX SL partly because it has a long, low race geometry, and it gives it just a racier fit than a lot of the other frames you find in this weight class.
And in addition to the fit, it's also got a really narrow front profile, partly achieved from having reduced the diameter of the steer tube. They went from the traditional 1.1" or 28.6 down to a 27.2, which is nice to reduce aero drag, but if you're looking to run an aftermarket stem or something other than the stock synchros bar, you're gonna have to come up with a shim to make that work, which is something we'll address when we get to that point.
It is set up for full internal routing, and it has a proprietary seat post.
It's also running the direct mount hanger. It comes with both a standard hanger and a Shimano direct mount hanger. We're gonna run the direct mount and save about 10 grams. This is claimed at 640 grams for a medium. Ours is a large for a little bit taller of a rider, and it came in at, what, 676 grams.
So this is a Dura build, and we're gonna start by doing some bolt tuning. We're gonna shave a few grams by putting in some colorful tie bolts.
In addition to shaving a few grams, it's gonna just add some color to it.
That too. So neat. So, like Jason mentioned, a lot of this was kind of for a stylistic statement on the bike. We did drop weight with the exception of this pivot bolt. We actually gained a gram on it, but it just looks so good that we had to do it anyway.
That was the only thing we did on the derailleur, right?
That was, yeah, all we did was change this one single pivot bolt. Yeah, so looks good. On the levers, I think it's worth mentioning that on Dura stuff, the band clamps are tie stock. So what we changed on here was the flared flange nut that the hose goes into. And then on the clamp itself, we changed the hardware, the little bolt and the nut in there. On the calipers, we changed the hose nut. Looks so good. And then the little bolt that goes through here and holds the pads in. So this is actually probably my favorite one that we did. It just looks really neat.
Does look good.
Front derailleur, the little mounting bolt. And this plate here is also drilled out. There's 4 little holes in there. So this is nice and light. And I believe, yeah, that's everything in terms of the hardware that we changed with the Dura stuff. Moving on to the fork. The steer is a tapered 1.5 inch steer. They reduced the diameter slightly, making it a little more aerodynamic. That did affect our expander plug choice. Normally on a bike like this, we would do an Ultrastar expander just because that's as light as you can get. The one we found that fit natively in there was the carbon tie plug. This is, let's see here, 13.8 grams. And this one, the one that came with it, this beefy, huge one, is 20.1 grams. So plenty of weight saved. Uncut, this thing was 302 grams. Cole's gonna put all of these numbers maybe here, or like right here, maybe there. I would encourage him to do it right here, just so that the handsome guy is on camera.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so headset-wise, pretty standard tapered headset. 48.7 grams is what we got. That's including just the bearings, the ring, and then the taper expander. Scott does use a 45-45 on their tapers, which does kind of limit the lightweight bearing choice. If they did a more common 36-45, Hellbender bearings, AER bearings, things like that, you could probably take another 10 grams off. It's not to say we can't find 45-45 bearings that are lighter. There's just not a lot of them out there.
So this is the bar we chose. Normally it comes with a synchros bar stem combo, but we went with this really, really cool THM Frontale Aero bar. There's a little bit of flare at the bottom. These things have 127 millimeters of drop, 75 millimeters of reach, 6-degree angle, all the holes you need for internal routing, and it's also been drilled and threaded for the THM Garmin mount. So that is the bar that we chose.
That's the shim we made to reduce that down to the reduced steer tube diameter. This came in at less than 5 grams. Pretty straightforward there. We did have to rebuild the spacer stack because it just doesn't line up with, or at least doesn't line up well with the THM stem. So we reached out to a friend of ours, Bree Rugemer. She's been working with us for decades now. She's doing custom tool line, lots of 3D printing, and she went out of her way and made us a whole series of transition spacers that go from 4 centimeters down to 2 centimeters to fit the frame at the bottom, to fit directly into the bar at the top, all the holes lined up, and it shaved some weight. The original 4 centimeter stack from Scott was 50.9 grams. The 3D printed one came out at 36 grams even, all the way down to 24 grams for the smallest. She does fantastic work, and if anybody needs custom stuff done, Bridge the Gap Designs is the website. We definitely say reach out to her. She does great work, and we really appreciate her making these for us.
This is the seat post that comes stock on the bike. It has this really cool accessory mount. This little piece is magnetic and it comes off. You can put lights on. You can put a Garmin Varia mount. It comes out to 216 grams. So not the lightest. What we did was we found this really neat Hilux post, much lighter. It is straight up 100 grams lighter. This is 116.7 grams.
We're going to mate the seat post to the Gelu K3 saddle. These are coming out of Portugal and are the lightest saddles in the world at the moment. This one was 41.6 grams. It's a 122 width with a 38 width nose. Deep channel and a large cutout. They do a small oval rail, so it's a 6x7 instead of the usual 6x9, 6x10. It does have an 80 kilogram weight limit, which is 175 pounds roughly. There are other versions like the K3 Plus, which are made for heavier riders that weigh a little more, but we went light on this one, and this fits the needs of our rider.
Top cap and stem, what we're going to do is we're going to switch out the stock one with our house branded one. The one that comes on the bike stock is 5.6 grams, and then ours is a really cool one with a purple bolt to match every other color on the frame, and then the top cap itself is sort of this concave thing. This is 4 grams, so we save a little over 1.5 grams with ours. I think it looks cooler too, to be honest. Next up, we're going to do these things. All the mechanics out there know exactly what these are. For those of you that are mechanics, these are what some people call churros. I call them foam denoisinators. And what it is, it's this little foam piece that you put over the brake line, and it cuts down on noise. If you've ever had a hydraulic line and a carbon frame without one of these, when you go over bumps or cracks in the road, it's just nuts and it's so noisy. Scott includes this with these frames. And just to give you an idea, there is a ton of weight savings to be got here. These standard ones that come with a lot of frames across the board, these black ones, this weighs out to 18.3 grams. This one, the weight weenie version, is 1.9 grams. It's a lot of grams. That's like 17 free grams that they just shave for you that's out of sight. So really cool. Thank you, Scott.
It's pretty important too that these little details get covered, because when you're trying to do something so light, 10 grams here, 15 grams there, it all adds up in the end, and that's really how you get to a light bike. And it's nice to see Scott realizing that the details matter and that it's something they're paying attention to. Speaking of details, one nice detail is Scott's through axles. Usually through axles are one of the first things we ditch and replace, because something like an Extralite, a carbon tie, will usually knock 10 or 15 grams off a stock through axle. In this case, these came out for the set at 44.2 grams, which is about 10 grams lighter than what we would normally upgrade to. So we just get to keep these.
For the rotors, we are going with some of our favorites for builds like these. The Carbon Tie X rotor. It's a steel braking surface that is mated to a carbon body with these little tie riv nuts. The 140 is 64.7 grams and the 160 is 77.3. And to fix these to the hubs, we're just going to use some Ashima alloy rotor bolts and little washers, 12.3 grams for the set of 12.
For the cranks, we're pretty excited about these. Grigio Carbonio's been making mountain cranks for several years now, and I don't think these are out in the wild yet, but we did manage to get a couple of sets of their road crank. This is a new crank that they've got coming out. Full carbon everything, 110 compact spider, 30 mil non-stepped spindle, preload adjuster, self-extracting arm, no opening for dirt and muck to get in, and they're coming in at 257.6 grams. Pretty impressive. Made in Italy, and they claim there's no rider weight limit on these, so we're going to see how they hold up.
For the chain rings, we are going with the good old Extralite Octaramp chain rings. These are about as light as they get, unless you go to a full carbon chain ring, in which case the shifting quality is just not great because there's no ramps or anything like that. So going with these bad boys, they're 94.3 grams for the set. After that, our bottom bracket that we're using, it's our house branded bottom bracket that we're doing in conjunction with HS Ceramics. It's a ceramic hybrid. The balls are grade 3 ceramic, ABEX 7 steel races, and the sleeve is Del Ren. This is 53.4 grams.
And what's the standard on it?
This is a BB86.
For the 30 mil.
For the 30 mil, yep.
And then we're going to pair it up with Woodman chainring bolts. Not the absolute lightest at 9.4 grams, but they are a double wrench. It uses an M6 in the back and a T20 in the front, which is nicer than having to get the old little hook tool in there to hold it. So we'll pay a gram weight penalty for these.
For the cassette, we're going to go with the Farewell Bikes SLR3. We went with the Rainbow cassette that has the purple lock ring just to match all the other highlights on the frame. These are great cassettes. I'll be real with you. So this has 3 alloy cogs in the back. So durability wise, this holds up pretty good. These ones up here are steel, the Rainbow ones. Back 3 alloy. So it's not going to last as long as, say, like a Dura cassette or something like that. Shifting wise, they shift really good. If your main concern is shift quality, nothing will ever beat a Dura or like a SRAM cassette. So you're not going to get it as finely tuned as something like that. But if you are all about weight savings, this is the way to go. It's 125.2 grams, and we find that they're about 60 grams lighter than a Dura cassette. So there are plus sides. We like using them a lot. We put them on a lot of the lightweight builds. They look good. We love them.
And that puts them at only 20 grams heavier than a full aluminum cassette, which we've found generally has lots of problems with teeth breaking and shift quality. For the chain, we're going to do the YBN Titanium 12. It's mostly a steel chain, but it does have tie rollers. You can see the tie nitride finish on them. Uncut, this was 233.2. Again, we'll cut it when we do the build, and Cole will put the finished cut weight somewhere here on the screen. And we'll see what this ends up. My guess is it's going to be around 210.
Cages, we've used these guys a lot. These are house branded Fairwheel Bikes V3 cages. For the set, these come in at 14.3 grams, which is way, way lighter than a lot of other things you might find. We're going to do these cool little silver anodized bolts as well.
What color are those?
Oh gosh, I'm colorblind. These are purple. That's not the first time it's happened, but Cole's edited it out. So purple bolts, not silver.
Wait, are you actually colorblind?
No.
Oh.
For wheels, we're going to use Schmolka's new TLO 37. Full carbon rim, 37 mil deep, 27.5 external, 22 internal width, so pretty fat rim. It is hooked, it is tubeless. It has Extralite's through axle 6-bolt hub with hyperceramic bearings. It runs a full carbon spoke with titanium ends and alloy nipples, Shimano body, of course. We're doing hooked because we're not 100% sold on tubeless for road bikes. Lots of situations where it's great, lots where it's not so good. So depending on tire size, tire pressure, really can be a determining factor. In this case, the client prefers tubes and it ends up lighter, so it's sort of a win for everybody. I think you've got the tires over there.
Tires are doing the Panaracer Agilis 28. Came out to 209 and 212 respectively. Got these TPU tubes, really cool, 21 grams a tube, which is crazy, crazy light. And then to wrap the bars, we're gonna use our Tessa tape. This is the roll here. We'll weigh the roll before we wrap the bars and then weigh the bits that we cut off so we know exactly how much that will weigh. All right, seat color is not a clamp around one, it's this wedge. That keeps it clean looking, a little more aero. This weighs 12.6 grams.
And then lastly, we've got the random stuff, E-tube wires, battery, bar end plugs, a few nuts and bolts. No real need to talk about any of this stuff, but we will get you pictures on the scale so you can have a complete catalog of the weights of everything on the bike.
All right, so just wrapping it up. This bike is going to be not just a light bike that you ride on the weekends at a group ride or you ride it and put it on the wall. It's going to be an everyday light bike, something you can train on that's respectably light. So we just wanted to show you what it was like to curate all the parts to do that with. Some of them were for weight, some of them were for looks, some of them for function. So yeah, that's that. Let's get this build started. Well, I'm really happy with how this thing turned out. You saw the scale, 10.8 pounds. And something that I noticed at first was just weight-wise how well all of the parts go hand in hand and complement each other. A lot of times with these lighter bikes, when you pick them up, they're kind of heavier towards the back, but the weight distribution is so even. My favorite part's the Frontale. I love the bolt upgrades we did on all the components. I'm a huge fan of the Gelu saddles. And I think it just looks really, really sharp. I'm into it.
Yeah, I couldn't be more ecstatic with this bike. It's, you mentioned 10.8 pounds, it's 4.9 kilos. That was kind of the goal, was to be under 5. We met that. It was to be real world, everyday rideable. When we shot the intro, I went back to my desk to do some work, and Jeff started the build, and I was starting to get a little bitter, a little jealous that I didn't take the build, that he was in here doing the build, until I heard him cursing as he was trying to route these bars.
Yep.
So, but otherwise, this has to have landed in my top 5 bikes of all time from the last 30 years of building bikes like this. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, probably maybe my favorite in the whole time I've been here, actually. It's something else.
Yeah, I can't imagine something that ticks all the boxes in a better way. Being light, being reasonably aero, it's stiff, it's a double chain ring, it's disc brakes, it's clinchers, it's 28 tires. It's everything you need in a bike, and it's just absolutely perfect.
Well, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Let us know what you think about it. We're going to keep bringing you videos like this. And until next time, everybody, happy riding.